finished this in a day.
And boy, was this a little bit of a headfuck.
So if you like psychology, psychological thrillers, a little bit supernatural, a little bit mystery, something a bit different, then I would definitely check this book out.
This was way outside my comfort zone. This was a detective thing, which, unless it's a cozy mystery, I haven't read anything sort of like a detective type of mystery in God knows how long. It was pretty dark.
I have not hated a character as much as I hated one of our main characters in this book. No redeeming qualities. If you've read the book, you'll know who I'm on about. I recommend that book, actually. I think it's very clever how much those authors made me hate one character. I think the writing for this is really well done because of everything it made me feel.
I will say there is, it's not massively descriptive, but there is SA in here. There's a lot of trauma around being queer. This is set in the 1920s, so obviously being gay or queer is not going to be something that is very well liked.
I did enjoy the 2 points of view. We've got Amelia Day, who is our detective. She's a female detective in the 1920s. This is
set in the 1920s in Liverpool, and it's at like a mental institute or hospital. And there's a psychiatrist called Aaron Knight who...
I don't like him. You're not meant to like him, but I really don't like him.
And Amelia Day, who is Liverpool's first female detective, decides to find out why there's so many coma cases at this hospital and what's going on.
No one else in the police department see a point to investigate, but Day is like, no, I'm gonna look into this, something doesn't feel right. And you watch her try and solve the case while Dr. Knight is the person who is making these things happen. Like, that's not a spoiler, it's on the back. And it's within the first chapter, his chapter, you see what he's doing, which is not particularly pleasant.
Also, the female in here, detective, 1920s, again, very sexist.
And everyone's kind of a bit like, should we take her word seriously, should we not? Crazy that, you know, we still have to think about that these days, but it is still something that's very much relevant. So it brings up all that aspect.
No one wants her there. Everyone keeps making cracks about how she should, you know, not be in the workplace. It is the 1920s. It did kind of grind my gears, but it's supposed to grind your gears, I suppose, because it's like this woman is trying to, you know, she's just become a detective, she's trying to make it in the police force, and all the other men are just awful to her. Apart from one, and his name is Jonathan, and I really like him. And her, head, I suppose, of department, he seems to back her as well, but her, sergeant, I think, he doesn't like her at all. And yeah, it's really annoying to see, and it's also quite sad to think, in the 1920s, if a woman went into the workforce, that is potentially the reaction she would be met with.
Basically, in the 1920s, this shit happened. You know, people were sexist, homophobic, you know, you had to hide being queer, you know, that kind of thing. So because it's true to life, it's not there in a gratuitous kind of way. It's just, it means something. It's part of the life at the time and that kind of thing. So
you've got so many different levels of it. You've got the psychological aspect, which I absolutely love, and I'm always intrigued by kind of dreams and comas.
There is some otherworldiness in this book, like magic-y, voodoo-y stuff, which I really enjoyed. I liked that different, almost otherworldly thing. That was quite cool to see.
There's a character called Madame Boss in it, and I cannot wait to learn more about her.
She is in cahoots with Knight, but there is also mention of her on one of the higher-ups desks.
It also does flashbacks of Aaron Knight, the psychiatrist. It does some of the things leading up to his life and what's been going on, which I really loved. I love kind of getting to know more behind the characters and why they might be making the decisions that they make.
I really liked Amelia Day. I really liked her character. I really like Jonathan, who is another police officer, and he teams up with her, but he is so nice. I liked him. He was nice. He believed in her, referred to her, asked her questions. Respectful. We like that.
And it's book 1 out of 3. So I love a trilogy, so that's also really exciting.
I am interested in seeing what comes next, because I think it's going to carry on with otherworld definitely things.
There is amazing artwork the whole way through it. So at the beginning of every chapter, we've also got artwork that shows off what's going to happen or what's kind of happening in that chapter.
So if you are okay reading something that is set in a world where there is going to be some homophobia, there is going to be some sexism, and there is also going to be quite a lot of sort of like trauma around not really accepting yourself as queer, then if you can deal with that, then I would say pick this up. If that's not something you can deal with, then obviously it won't be for you.